Day one of the Arizona Cardinals OTA period is officially in the books, and we got to see a lot of news, notes, highlights from their new players: Marvin Harrison, Darius Robinson, Max Melton. So we got to see a lot of new things happening over here in Arizona. Now, in this video, I kind of want to break down everything we saw on day one as we prepare to head into the next few weeks and then the start of mandatory minicamp and training camp, what you guys need to expect and what you guys need to know going forward. Now, before we jump into the video, do me a quick little favor and comment down below, who do you think will have the biggest impact day one for this team as a rookie standpoint, but also who do you think has the most potential as well? And try to keep it outside of Marvin Harrison, because we all know how good he is and how good of a player he will be from day one. But to me, a guy like Isaiah Adams could be someone to look out for in terms of that starting left guard position, or even a guy like Trey Benson has so much potential as a backup running back. Darius Robinson, the other first round picks, Max Melton. There's so much talent from this year's draft, especially for the Arizona Cardinals. So let me know who you're most excited to see. And with that being said, let's dive right into the video. Now, the biggest question coming into this year's OTAs was who's going to be the guy at left guard. Now, obviously, they have some guys here. Evan Brown coming over from Seattle, Isaiah Adams, a third-round pick. You have Elijah Wilkinson. So the biggest thing right now for this Arizona Cardinals team is who is going to win that battle throughout training camp, OTAs, and mandatory minicamp. Now, as of right now, it seems like Evan Brown will be, the guy to get the majority of the snaps, but there's a lot of guys who think Elijah Wilkinson will be someone who gives them a big question mark. He's the guy that they're going to watch out for, because they wouldn't be surprised at all if he comes in here and earns himself the starting job. And also Isaiah Adams, I think he can even make a push for the start. So the one thing I'm going to be looking forward to the next couple of weeks here is exactly that: the guard position, the offensive line position, who is going to stand out the most, right? Now, other than that, obviously we have to keep our eyes on the slot wide receiver position. Now, obviously, you have Greg Dortch, who has been, pretty good. He's going to get a big time opportunity. Now that Rondale Moore is gone to Atlanta, I think Greg Dortch is going to step up and make a massive, contribution to this team. So now, when you're looking at this wide receiver core, you have guys like Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson, the former third-round pick of last year, who he looks really good at times last year as well. And then Greg Dortch, you add Zay Jones, Zach Pascal, Chris Moore. Now, all of a sudden, I think this is a really solid wide receiver room. And you have Xavier Weaver, the undrafted free agent, as well. So there's a lot of things to look at throughout OTAs at the guard position, at the offensive line position. And then you look at Paris Johnson Jr., who has moved sides. He's now on the left side, and he'll be protecting the blind side of Kyler Murray. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. DB room is interesting as well. Who's going to be the slot corner? Who is going to be the slot corner for this team? When you look at the depth chart right now, you have Max Melton, you have Sean Murphy-Bunting, and then it gets kind of dicey, right? Garrett Williams, the third-round pick of last season. You have Jaden Davis, you have Elijah Jones. There is some interesting pieces here alongside that slot corner position, but who do you guys think will ultimately win that job by the end of, training camp and mini camp? Who do you guys think it will be? Because right now, I think Max Melton is a guy who's going to start on the outside. I think Garrett Williams is probably a guy who I think has the most potential of being their slot guy, but again, that's another big question mark heading into the rest of OTAs in mandatory minicamp. But last year, the Cardinals needed to upgrade in a ton of different areas. Ranked 31st in the NFL in points allowed per game and 24th in terms of points per game as well. So right away, you talk about getting to the quarterback, forcing turnovers, stopping the run. They needed to upgrade in so many categories, and I feel like they did that. Darius Robinson, a day one starting end. Max Melton, a day one starting cornerback. And then you add so many guys along the depth of multiple different positions who have a ton of potential going forward in Isaiah Adams and Trey Benson and Tip Ryman, tight end behind Trey McBride. You have Christian Jones at right tackle, Dadrion Taylor Demerson, Elijah. I mean, there's so much depth along this team. I'm very excited to see what they do. But who are we most excited to see? It's got to be Marvin Harrison Jr., man. This dude, unbelievable production throughout his collegiate career. Runs great routes, threatening pace, good rhythm, good body control, has speed change ability to create indecisiveness with cornerbacks. He's got elite scramble talent when, you know, a quarterback is getting outside the pocket, being able to go to, right? Get to the quarterback and continue to get open, man. Never stops unless the whistle is blown dead. This is a guy who's going to make a big time, you know, contribution to this team on day one. So let me know what you guys think so far. We're going to see a lot of film, a lot of highlights. Tomorrow we'll have a much more updated video in terms of more highlights, more analysis, and more things to talk about in terms of the starters, the bench players, who's looking good, who's not looking good. Obviously, right away, we can talk about guys like Marvin Harrison and Greg Dortch and you know, Darius Robinson. Those guys looking pretty good. BJ Ojulari looking really good as well as a former second-round pick. So, again, tomorrow we'll know more, and then as pads come on, we'll start to know a lot more. So hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, and I'll see you in the next Cardinals update. Peace.
Go!